Hey, what's going on? My name is Nathan Sink, and I'm going to do a tutorial slash lesson of Gabe Bondoc. I guess that's how you say his name. His version of John Mayer's Rosie. And just a fantastic cover version, the way he arranged it with sort of the walking bass line or the separate bass line going on with the thumb and the sort of instrumental sections. Just really fantastic. He's got a lot of good stuff on YouTube, some original songs as well. I don't know a whole lot about him, but this specific cover is just fantastic. I'm a big John Mayer fan. Of course, all credit goes to John Mayer for writing the song, but saying that, I'd almost, if I'm gonna listen to the song Rosie, I'd almost rather listen to Gabe Bondoc's version of it, which is saying a whole lot. So with that said, let's get into it. There's basically 4 parts to the song. There's what I would call the verse, the pre-chorus, sort of a chorus, and then there's the instrumental or solo sections. So I'm gonna break this into 2 videos. The first one will cover the chorus and sort of the pre-chorus section. The next one will cover the chorus and the instrumental sections. Okay, let's zoom in closer to the guitar and take a look. But before we do that, one important thing you want to do is tune the guitar to an alternate tuning. So it's pretty easy. You're going to tune the low E string, or the 6th string if you want to call it that, down to D. So it's going to match your normal D string. And then for the A string and 5th string, you're going to tune that to G, like your normally 3rd string, your G string. So from lowest string to highest string, from top to bottom, whatever way you want to look at it, it's going to be D, G, D, G, B, E. Okay, so the first part of the song is probably the hardest, but it's sort of the hook and it's essential to the song, so let's go ahead and get into that. What you're going to be playing basically for the verse is a C over D chord and a B minor over a G, or maybe a D over G, however you want to look at it. But we're going to start out over here. We're going to be on the 10th fret D string with our pinky. And then we're going to be on the 9th fret of the G string with your ring finger. And then I'm going to be on the 8th fret of the B string with your middle finger. That's going to be your C chord. And then we're going to be playing on the open, well, we're going to call it the E string and the A string. But remember, you're tuned down on those 2 strings. So it's going to be that's the basic idea. So let's just start out. There's basically 2 measures that you got to get right on this first chord, and then we're going to move to the 2nd chord, and there's 2 measures of that. So the very first measure is you're gonna pluck, or with your thumb, you're gonna hit the low E string, which again is a D, but you're gonna hit that string and these 3 strings at the same time. All right, that's gonna be your first beat, right? Then the next one, you're gonna just hit these 3 strings. So we got, next one you're gonna slap, but you're gonna kind of pick slap. No, you're not just gonna go like this. With a solid hand, you're gonna go. So you're gonna wanna get those strings when you slap. So think of it less as like, a closed hand, and more of just kind of like, you're really gonna be slapping with your thumb and ringing out those 3 strings with your other fingers. You can just do it with 1 finger, however you want to do it, however you feel comfortable with it. So again, let's take that first measure. All right, now we're getting to the 2nd measure. So let's back up. The whole first measure is the low E string, we'll call it the 6th string, and those 3 at the same time, first beat. Then just these 3 strings, slap, and then pluck these 3 strings again. That's the whole first measure. That's it. All right, so the next measure is you're gonna play the open 6th string, then you're gonna play it on the 7th fret, but you're gonna play these 3 strings at the same time. So these 3 strings are always gonna be on like the downbeats, or the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he does kind of mute, more of a staccato effect going on. So try to do that while you're doing all this other stuff. But that's the basic idea. So now we're on the second measure. All right, so you're gonna, the first string, the first sort of note you're gonna play is a pickup note. So it's gonna be an and then you're gonna play these together. You're gonna play the 6th string on the 7th fret and these same 3 strings down here you're playing the whole time. So and 1. Now you're gonna have another and that's gonna be on the 5th string on the 7th fret. So just this string by itself on the and 1, and then you're gonna play these 3 strings again. 2 and is gonna be another open 6th string. And you're gonna play these 3 strings again. Then you're gonna have another and, which is gonna be the 7th fret on the A string. And then you're gonna play the 5th string and these 3 strings again. It's gonna be your final 4 beat. So again, I know that's a lot, but so and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 again, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So now let's take that measure sped up a little bit. Okay, now let's take the whole first 2 measures together. Oh, one thing, when you do this slap, you may want to mute the A string with your first finger, just so you're not getting that ringing out. Okay, so watch that again if you need to, slow it down, but that's the gist of that. And it's the same thing, you're gonna move down here. This is gonna be like your B minor over G chord. So this is the 2nd chord of the verse. But instead of being on the 5th and 6th strings, you're gonna be focusing on the 5th and 4th strings. This chord is gonna be on the 4th fret G string, 3rd fret B string, and the 2nd fret E string. And so that's gonna be like your B minor over G. And again, this is the 2nd chord of the verse. But again, it's the same thing, right? So your 3rd measure, or your first measure of this chord, if you will, is gonna be that same pattern. Where the 4th measure is gonna be the same as the 2nd measure of the 1st chord, if that makes sense. Let's get into it and it should make sense. So we're gonna do the same thing we did up here. So the first measure of this chord is the open, all these together, your 5th string and your chord together. And then just the 3 strings, slap. So the same as before. And then the 2nd measure of this chord is going to be the same as we did up here. We're going to go, it's going to go like that. All right, so open 5th string, and then on the 1, you're going to play these together. Open and 1, and then that next and is going to be the open D string. So and 1 and pluck your chord, that's your 2nd beat, and 1 and 2, and that next and is going to be the open 5th string, and then your 3rd beat is going to be that chord. Your next and is going to be that 5th string on the 2nd fret by itself, and the 4th beat is going to be the open D string and these chords together. Now he does change this sometimes. Sometimes he goes, so he hammers on the D string on the 2nd fret. But let's go back and do the whole 2 measures for this chord. So we got And again, sometimes he does that hammer on, sometimes he doesn't. It's kind of hard to do that hammer on and get back up here quickly. So I think in the song when he's singing it, he kind of skips that and goes up here. But that's it. That's the whole verse section. If you can get that down, then you got that whole verse. So another way to think about this section to sort of make it simpler is, again, we're counting in 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It kind of complicates things with the ands. You got some bass notes going on the ands. But if you think about it, you're only going to be playing the bass note and your chord together on the first beat and the 4th beat of the measure. So it's and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So in that first beat is going to be this, and then the 4th beat is going to be, and those are the only times you're playing the bass note and your chord together. Okay, so that's the verse section. I hope that helps. Again, listen to it slowly, go over it again to kind of pick that rhythm up. And now we're going to go to the pre-chorus section. So your pre-chorus section essentially is a B minor, an E minor, a B flat over G, or a G minor, I think that's what you call it, and then a C over D. So your B minor chord is going to be like this. It kind of looks like a B minor chord, but again, because of the tuning, you got to kind of move your hands around. But essentially, we're going to be, with your ring finger, you're going to be on the 4th fret, 5th string, and then your pinky is going to be on the D string on the 4th fret. And then you're going to be barring these strings down here on the 2nd fret, and your middle finger is going to be on the B string 3rd fret. You're not really playing the E string. I mean, you can, it's not going to sound bad, but you're not focusing on that string. So the rhythm of this, I mean, it's kind of, you know, do it how you wish. There's not an exact science to it. You just got to keep with the rhythm of the song. I kind of do it differently, but one way to do it is just kind of like pick down the strings. But you got to do this. So the way I'd probably play it, the easiest way to explain it is just to sort of pluck this low string as your bass note or your bass string on the 5th string, and then sort of pluck your chord. And then you're going to do that pick slap, and you're going to hammer on that on your pinky finger. It's going to be something like that. And again, it's not, I mean, I could break down the rhythm and really get into it, but for simplicity's sake, let's just say listen to your ears, and but the main thing you want to be doing is getting that pinky finger in there. So the way I hear it is you're kind of doing 2 slaps in there. One of them you're hammering on, and then the other one you're hammering on but you're not slapping. And the final one you're slapping but you're not doing anything. Okay, so let's move on to the second chord of the pre-chorus, which is an E minor. It's going to look kind of like this. You can put whatever finger you want, but you're going to put it on the 2nd fret, and then you're going to put your, I'm putting my ring finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. So on this one you can kind of just pick down the strings. Again, you're kind of doing some slapping. So that's kind of how I hear it. I'm muting the 5th string with my thumb. If you do it like this, again, mute it with your finger, however you want to do it. So again, without going into great detail about the actual tablature and every note on every beat, this is just kind of an idea of what's going to sound like. And then he goes back. It's the same idea on that when you do this chord the second time. And then he goes to this chord. And this is the chord that I would call, I guess, a B flat over G. But you're going to be on the 3rd fret with all your fingers on the 5th string. And then on the 4th string, the 3rd string, the G string is going to be open. And you're going to be on the B string on the 3rd fret also. So you're really just, you're really getting those 4 strings in the middle. And that's the 3rd chord. And then this is going to be the final chord of the pre-chorus. So on this one, you're going to be on the 4th string on the 2nd fret, and then you're going to be on the B string or the 2nd string with your 1st finger. And you're going to play the open 6th string. And so I'm playing the open 6th string, and then I'm really just playing these 3 strings right here, the D, the G, and the B. So again, just working that kind of slapping on the, it's going to be kind of like your snare, you know. So let's go through the pre-chorus again, all those chords. Okay, so that's it for the verse and the pre-chorus.